Writer-director Richard Linklater's 1993 film Dazed and Confused is considered to be a cult classic. The ultimate ensemble film, this high school comedy featured a host of up-and-coming actors, and in the 20-something years since it arrived in theaters, some of those kids have grown up to become A-list celebrities, while others have faded into obscurity. Here's what the cast of Dazed and Confused looks like today. Nicky Katt. In a movie filled with cool and lovable characters, Nicky Katt's Clint Bruno stands apart as one who's downright scary. And thanks to his intimidating turn as the angry alpha male, actor Nicky Katt has faced some typecasting over the years. He told IGN, "I mean, everyone says that the bad guys are the most fun, but I've definitely gone through streaks where that's all people wanted me to play, the bad guy. Especially after Dazed and Confused." Nevertheless, Katt has managed to carve out a pretty impressive career, and has kept in touch with some of his Dazed and Confused comrades. Among countless other roles, he's played a pretty awful guy in the Matthew McConaughey movie A Time to Kill, joined up with Richard Linklater for Suburbia, and even starred in Adam Goldberg's 1998 indie film Scotch and Milk. Apparently, he's forgiven the guy for slugging him in the nose. Jason London. If you had to pick a main character in Dazed and Confused, it'd be football star Randall Pink Floyd, played by Jason London. At first, it seemed like London was poised for stardom, but the A-list life has eluded the actor so far. After Dazed and Confused, London showed up in a series of little-scene features made for TV movies and TV shows like Tales from the Crypt. As far as big roles go, he was the leading man in The Rage, Carrie 2, the critically derided unnecessary sequel to Brian De Palma's horror classic. Anthony Rapp. One of the smartest guys in school, Tony Olson is a poker-playing intellectual with really weird dreams about Abraham Lincoln. Actor Anthony Rapp got his start in the Elizabeth Shue comedy adventures in Babysitting. Later on, he'd play in 6 Degrees of Separation, appear in TV shows like The X-Files, and reunite with Dazed and Confused co-star Adam Goldberg as one of Russell Crowe's buddies in A Beautiful Mind. However, Rapp is best known for his work on Broadway. The Illinois-born actor starred with Idina Menzel in the 2014 show If Then and toured the country in Little Shop of Horrors. And of course, Rapp was one of the original actors in the Tony Award-winning musical Rent, even appearing in the 2005 movie adaptation. The actor also made headlines in late 2016 when it was announced to be playing Lieutenant Stamets in Star Trek Discovery, the first character in a long-running franchise originally created to be gay. Rory Cochrane. Everybody's favorite stoner, Ron Slater is one of the most iconic characters in Richard Linklater's entire filmography. The long-haired pothead stole the show, and that's 100% thanks to Rory Cochrane, the only guy who could ever convince you that George Washington was involved in an alien cult. This wasn't the last time Cochrane would play a spaced-out hippie for Linklater. In 2006, the actor showed up as a junkie in A Scanner Darkly. He also played a Doors-quoting biker alongside his future wife Renee Zellweger in Empire Records, and he later joined up with CSI Miami playing the part of Tim Speedle, a trace evidence and impressions expert who wasn't too big on proper gun maintenance. More recently, he's popped up in a smattering of high-profile movies like Public Enemies, Argo, and Black Mass. Marissa Ribisi. The brains behind the every other decade theory, Cynthia Dunn spends most of her time hanging out with her fellow nerds Mike and Tony. She's a lot more laid back than the rest of her trio, and by the end of the film, she's got plans to check out an Aerosmith concert. The twin sister of actor Giovanni Ribisi, Marissa has continued to pop up in TV shows like Friends and Grace Under Fire. She hasn't done a lot of acting since 2003, but in 2008, Ribisi teamed up with Sevilla Banks to form Whitley Cross, a fashion line that showed up in the likes of Vogue and Elle. Ribisi is also a busy woman, having 2 kids with the musician Beck. Adam Goldberg. The snarkiest character in Dazed and Confused, Mike Newhouse, played by Adam Goldberg, is a wisecracking senior who punches a bully in the face. Goldberg went on to have one of the most successful careers of anyone involved with Dazed and Confused. Consider his filmography: A Beautiful Mind, Saving Private Ryan, Waking Life. These are just a few of the films rounding out his resume. But Goldberg is also equally comfortable appearing on TV shows like Entourage, ABC's short-lived cop comedy The Unusuals, and even as a nutty roommate in Friends. In addition to acting, Goldberg has directed 4 of his own movies, and he's released 3 albums. Oddly enough, Goldberg isn't all that enamored with the role of Mike Newhouse. He told Oprox that he considers his performance to be some of his worst acting ever. Considering it was only his third feature film, he's probably being a bit hard on himself. Wiley Wiggins. Whether he's trying to escape from a gang of paddle-wielding seniors or get it on with an older girl, Mitch Kramer is the kid we're all cheering on. And in that role is Austin resident Wiley Wiggins, who's made an interesting life for himself in the years since Dazed and Confused. He's shown up in a couple of small films, but his next biggest role was when he signed up for another Richard Linklater flick, Waking Life. Wiggins hasn't done any professional acting since 2013. Instead, he makes his living in the tech world. He's also big into the indie gaming scene, helping to found a video game collective known as Wago's Rancheros. Created in 2011, the group hosts an annual Austin festival called Fantastic Arcade, and operates an arcade and art space known as the Museum of Human Amusement. Parker Posey. Time magazine named her the Queen of the Indies, but before Parker Posey became a darling of the indie scene, she terrified freshman students as Darla Marks, the meanest girl in school. Of course, prior to landing the role of Darla, Posey was a regular on the soap opera As the World Turns. Later on, she appeared in the cult classic Party Girl and Richard Linklater's Suburbia. But while she's had a few mainstream roles here and there, like Lex Luthor's Mal in Superman Returns, she's probably best known for her collaborations with improv extraordinaire Christopher Guest, starring in 4 of his films. Posey fans should keep an eye out for Netflix's upcoming Lost in Space series, in which the actress will play Dr. Smith, a gender-bending take on the classic character. Milla Jovovich. One of the biggest stars to come out of Dazed and Confused, Milla Jovovich left a lasting impression as Michelle, the guitar-strumming stoner. Perhaps more than anyone else, Dazed and Confused had a direct impact on Jovovich's life. The 16-year-old married her 20-year-old co-star Shawn Andrews, and the couple remained hitched for a grand total of 2 months. Before Dazed and Confused, she scandalized audiences in Return to the Blue Lagoon, and she stole the spotlight as Lilo in The Fifth Element. But if you're at all familiar with zombie flicks, then you're well aware that Jovovich is best known for her role as the tough-as-nails Alice from the Resident Evil franchise. Jovovich has also worked as an official spokesmodel for L'Oreal, started her own fashion line, and even made a name for herself in the music industry. As for her acting career, she's far from done. Ben Affleck. Maybe he's a good guy to have blocking for you, but Fred O'Banion is the kind of person you love to hate, and that's all thanks to Batman himself, Ben Affleck. It's no secret what he's up to today. He may have had his show business start appearing in Burger King commercials, but after beating up on Wiley Wiggins, Affleck continued struggling in the film industry until finally winning an Oscar for co-writing Good Will Hunting. With that statuette in hand, the actor went on to star in blockbusters like Armageddon and Pearl Harbor. Affleck turned his career around after starring in bombs like Daredevil and Geely by stepping behind the camera, directing movies such as Gone Baby Gone and the Oscar-winning Argo. And of course, he's also been donning Bruce Wayne's cape and cowl and mercilessly beating anyone unlucky enough to get in his way. Hey, that kind of sounds like Fred O'Banion. Matthew McConaughey. A-list actor Matthew McConaughey keeps getting older, but David Woodison stays the same age. Really, McConaughey doesn't need an introduction, but even though he's been in tons of films, Woodison is still his most memorable character. Since then, McConaughey has become a major Hollywood player, starting off in films like Contact and A Time to Kill, before charming it up in a series of rom-coms like The Wedding Planner and Failure to Launch. More recently, the actor has been wowing critics and audiences alike in roles in True Detective and The Dallas Buyers Club. In other words, it seems the man is doing pretty okay. Or as he'd say it.
Alright.
Thanks for watching. Click the looper icon to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Plus, check out all this cool stuff we know you'll love too.